Thanks for joining. Hey,
Hey, Tipton. I'm
Azature, how are you?
trying to figure out the screen.
I can see part of you.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
How's it going?
Hi.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
How
Great to
are
s-
you?
I'm good. It's chilly here in LA today.
I know it's a little the same. I'm trying to figure this out. There we go. I
Okay.
like the camera. I'm like figuring. I know it's raining. It's kind of annoying, but
I know. Well, we're warm, we're safe. The Thinking of Art call series today is featuring celebrity jeweler Azature. And, I wanted to feature people who are not only artists, but also creatives. And, as far as creating jewelry, I mean, you've done it for a long time, what, over like 17 years or longer?
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
me personally, with the Azature brand, it's been 17 years, but my family's been in it for a really, really long time. So
Yeah.
it's like over 100 years now or so.
And we've known each other for, well, like 3 years or so, or a
Maybe
while
longer.
or longer.
Yeah.
When
So
I
maybe
started
like
coming
five.
to LA, we met whenever I was coming to LA, and whenever I first met you, I your energy is so contagious,
Um,
and you have such a warmth about you. And I'm happy now that we're neighbors.
I know we're very close. We're like
I
two
don't,
minutes.
I can't see you right now, but you're still my neighbor.
Yeah, exactly. We're dealing with the COVID, which is so exciting, right?
I know, I know. It is not exciting, but it's an opportunity for us to really, be more introspective during this time. And there's some of the people that are going to join this call that are not only creatives that are interested in jewelry, but how has your business changed as a result of COVID?
Well, what's interesting is that our building is closed. So all the manufacturing, everything I do in-house. So we own the manufacturing, which is my uncle runs it. So it's
Hmm.
very vertical integration in fine jewelry. So from the mines to the diamond to the manufacturing, it's all family based.
Hmm.
The only thing was is that when this whole coronavirus COVID started happening, they had to close the buildings down. So I don't even have access to any of the diamonds, any of the
Right.
machines for manufacturing. Obviously, I can't have anyone come to work as well because I wouldn't want anyone to be in danger.
Of
Um,
course.
so it's been an interesting process, but what's really nice is that I have a full catalog of all of the inventory that we have. So for any gemstone, any diamond, anything that we have that's in the safe, um, it's all 100%, like we have all the archive, like all the details of all the diamonds. So I can
Mhm.
create a piece from start to finish without ever touching an actual diamond.
Sure. So, what's the first part of the process whenever a client comes to you and they say, okay, we want to create a unique necklace or an engagement ring or whatever, like where as a creative, where do you source? I mean, obviously don't reveal your sources, but how do you source the product for the client, and what if somebody's going through that process, because it can be really intimidating. Can you walk people through that process of how you handhold those relationships?
Yeah, I think what's most important is understanding what you are looking for. So for me, whenever someone comes to me interested in jewelry, I like to educate them in regards to what they're buying. So the difference between Azature and many other brands out there is that we don't treat it like you just walk in a store, you take out your credit card, and that's that. Jewelry itself is an investment, and I know we're going to be talking about that later on, so we'll get into
Yeah.
that. But I like someone that is buying a piece of Azature jewelry to understand what they are buying so they understand the value that they are getting. Because I'm a wholesaler and I don't have an actual retail location, it's only by word of mouth.
Yeah.
Um, and that's how I built my business for over 17 years, whether it's celebrity, whether it's international royalty, or just any one of our friends or recommended friend or someone I've met at a social function. I mean, anywhere. Um, and for me, it's the education part. So I educate them first. I
Mhm.
ask them what kind of price point they're interested in altogether, because usually when someone comes to me, they have an idea of what their budget is.
Hmm.
And most people know what kind of shape of diamond they're looking for.
Right.
So those are the two things, price and the shape of the diamond. I feel like they already have an understanding before they come in. And then
So
once they
right,
come into it, what was that?
so right now, are you getting requests for people to diversify into jewelry, into diamonds because of where the market, the volatility of the market?
Yeah, so what's really interesting, and I think a lot of people don't know this, but jewelry, gold, diamonds is probably your fastest way to cash
Hmm.
money in times of trouble. Getting rid of your stock options takes a really long time. Getting rid of
Yeah.
real estate takes,
Hmm.
getting rid of a lot of different, a lot of different assets that you might have takes a really long time.
Hmm.
With gold and diamonds, it's fairly immediate.
Right.
And so people are really contacting me to diversify their portfolios. Not only can they buy a gift for someone, but also at the same time or for themselves.
Yeah.
It's actually cash in your hand. And I don't know if,
That's a really good point. I mean, and you can enjoy it. Obviously, you can, create that necklace or have that stone and really enjoy it and look at it just like art. It is a piece of art.
exactly. And
So,
it is. And as a piece of art, it maintains its value.
mhm.
Um, it could be on you. So heaven forbid for an emergency, you have to pick up your bags and go. You can't really go to a bank and take out cash. You can't carry that much cash on a plane.
Right. You
But
can't
you can
carry a
always have
canvas
your
on a
jewelry.
plane unless you roll it up and, you know, issues
Exactly.
there. Yeah.
But you could have a $10 million around your neck and find jewelry. So
That's right.
yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
So, how did you get started? I mean, have you always wanted to be a jewelry designer? I mean, obviously, your family was in the business. You kind of sounds like you followed in the footsteps to a certain degree, but you also have that intuition of in the eye for beauty and design. So,
Ever since I was a little kid, I was very drawn to jewelry. My mother and my aunt always make a joke, and they say, "Azature, when you were young, and we would get the jewelry magazines, you would always say, I'm gonna buy you this one, and I'm gonna buy you that one." Since I was very, very young, I was buying everyone jewelry, right?
yeah.
So didn't think I was gonna be on the other side where I was selling jewelry. Uh, but when I was just growing up in my teens, I always interned with my uncle, which is my mom's brother. He was already in fine jewelry. It's my mom's side of the family that has been in jewelry. So I didn't think I was going to be that into it, but I think naturally I was into it. How about that? Like, I thought I wanted to be an attorney since I was a little kid. So I thought I
Okay.
was going to be a corporate attorney of some sort.
Yeah,
So
my mom thought I would be like a banker or a lawyer or something, and
yeah,
yeah, I went into finance, but then found art. So
exactly.
at what age were you when you decided I want to pursue the jewelry business full time?
So I never thought about getting into the jewelry business. I got into it by accident because there was no plans for it. So when I finished UCLA, I was in business economics, sociology. I'm applying to law school. Something in me said, you know what? You've always had this thing for fashion. You love design. So why don't you apply for Parsons Design School in New
Hmm.
York as well? And when I applied to Parsons Design School, I got into law school and design school. And I was like, where do I go? My
No way.
heart said go to design school. So I did. My parents hated me, of course. They thought I was crazy.
Of course.
Um, but that's where it kind of started because as I studied design at Parsons, I was there for 2 years. I started interning and working with a couple of stylists, and I really saw the impact of jewelry on celebrities because I was an assistant to Andrea Lieberman at the time, who was the stylist to Gwen Stefani and Jennifer Lopez. I was
Hmm.
very young. I just applied for the internship without knowing who the stars were that she worked with. I just
Yeah.
applied for it just to
Yeah.
have something to do and then later on get paid for it because New York was so expensive to live in New York.
Hmm.
Um, and that's when it kind of started because when I came back to LA after being there for about a year, working with Andrea, I worked for a creative director, like a loungewear company here in design, and I hated it. So I was like, this can't happen. And a conversation with my uncle completely changed everything because he literally sat me down and said, Azature, I'll give you $5,000 to
Hi, Paris.
start to
Yeah.
actually start a company, but you've
Yeah.
got to go into jewelry
Yeah.
because I can't guide you in fashion.
Yeah.
And I was
Interesting.
like, I guess jewelry it is. And then that's how it started.
Okay. So you've worked with some major celebrities. I mean, and now this time, everybody is going through a lot, stuck at home. People are sick. People are, suffering mentally, emotionally. And I wanted to have this conversation with you because not only are you're a very positive person and you're, a close friend, but outside of work, like what are you doing to stay positive during this time? And what suggestions can you share with people out there for a minute?
I think really, this is a really great time to work on yourself
Hmm.
as an individual because you're standing still. So when you do a lot of readings and teachings and meditation and you look into various religions or spirituality, whatever whatever anyone believes in, there's a lot of stillness that they teach you to really focus on the present and
Hmm.
not focus on the future or the past.
Yeah.
And that's really the beauty of it. So for me, what even though I went into complete panic and pandemonium the first 5 days, I did because I was like,
Yeah.
oh my
Same.
God, like the office is closed, the jewelry is in the safe, I can't work, I'm not
Right.
going to
How long
be
is this going to last? Like, am I going to have
exactly,
enough food? Yeah.
exactly. Like
Yeah.
I was completely freaking out. But then I took a minute and I thought about it and I said, this is a great opportunity to just look into yourself and see,
Hmm.
assess, are you happy? Are you doing what you want to do? Do you want to incorporate new things into your life? It's a
Yeah.
great time for reinvention, or it's a great time just simply for healing because I
Yeah.
know a lot of news outlets online are like, are you working out? Are you planning your next move? Are you getting a
Right.
new job? But it's about really healing, I think. So I think as long
Hmm.
as you're even allowing yourself to heal in this process, I think you've done an incredible job.
Yeah. I mean, you and I both went through the recession 10 years ago during,
Yeah.
2008, 2009. That was my transition from finance, full-time finance into full-time art. How do you see the differences between that time and where, you were emotionally, spiritually in your business versus now, 10 years later?
I think I think when it first happened 10 years ago where we had the recession, it was a bit of a shocker, but my mentality is that life waits for no one. That's
Yeah.
my theory. Like it just doesn't. So
Hmm.
either you can crumble up and let everything just come against you, or you can believe that you can take advantage of the time in that period
Absolutely.
to do something new, which is what
Yeah.
you did.
Yeah.
Uh, and for me, I was already deeply rooted in jewelry because at the time, so I just had to reinvent the
Hmm.
brand, which as a business owner, you have to reinvent quite often because the
Absolutely.
times change as the
Yep.
years go by. People want different things,
Mhm.
um, and through that reinvention, I was able to offer something very unique to my clientele that they couldn't find anywhere else.
So, as I speak to artists and interview artists, I always ask the question, how did it make you feel whenever you walked into an exhibition of your paintings on the wall that you like poured your, heart and soul into? You're doing the same thing. You're an artist. You're creating jewelry. How does it make you feel when you have, Rihanna and Scarlett Johansson and Toni Braxton, all these celebrities, as well as, normal people like me, wearing, I actually don't wear any of your jewelry, but I love it. I need to get a piece, but we should talk about that.
Yeah.
But how does that make you feel? Like what satisfaction, or does it raise issues of anxiety or happy? Tell us about that.
For me, there's nothing in the world that makes me more happy than jewelry. And people think they are like they don't understand. They think it's a material thing. For me, fine jewelry is not a material thing. Fine jewelry is buying something that's going to be part of your family forever. And there's
Yeah,
rarely things that you can purchase that you can really pass on to your children, your grandchildren, and it
that's
becomes a
right.
story. So for me, it's a piece of joy that you can have on you at all times. And my whole theory in life in general is choose joy every single day. And it's like a piece of joy. So whether it's
I
Scarlett
love
wearing
that.
it, whether it's my mother wearing it, whether it's you wearing it, or anyone wearing it, for me, it doesn't matter because I'm just excited that my voice was heard as an artist. And I think when you're an artist and you're struggling to get yourself out there and you're competing with the big brands that spend 10, 20, 30 million dollars a year in marketing, and
Mhm.
you're wondering, how am I going to survive with the big
Yeah.
guys? And the fact that you do survive, it's like the greatest satisfaction. I can't even put it in words, the excitement when I see people wearing
No,
Azature.
it's beautiful. Yeah, so we had some artists, Bo, thank you for joining. We have some artists actually on the call, some painters and photographers on the call. We have a couple gallery owners on the call as well. So what what is something that we don't know about you, or what is one of your biggest accomplishments lately before all this happened, and transition into that and how your life really has changed
Um,
after as we're going through this situation?
well, I
It's
have
a
a
loaded
lot.
question.
uh, well, a few things. First and foremost, one thing that most people don't know about me is that I'm absolutely in love with the 70s. So, like, no one, it's something that I rarely talk about. So, my personal art collection is all based on the 70s because I feel like that's where I belonged.
Yeah, and we're going to talk
Um,
about some of your favorite artists as well in a bit.
yeah. Do you want me to talk about it now or later?
Yeah, talk about it
Okay.
now.
Oh my God. So Helmut Newton is like my life.
Okay,
Like I'm
love.
obsessed with Helmut Newton.
Okay.
I love Andy Warhol and Keith Haring, which I know you were like, Azature, I want to see some of the pieces you have. And I went into the actual storage unit and pulled it out just for you, Kipton.
Oh, amazing.
I
Thank
couldn't
you.
take out, you're a bit blurry, by the way, on
Am
your
I?
screen. Yeah, a bit
Okay.
blurry.
I'll get a little
Um,
closer.
I couldn't I couldn't get all the pieces out, but I did get a few. So I wanted to
Okay.
show you this one here. This is my Warhol Campbell soup sketch
Amazing.
that I'm obsessed with.
Love it.
So this was one of his initial sketches before he started the real deal.
Mm-hmm.
This is a Keith Haring.
Oh, let's see which one. Oh, nice.
This
That's
is one
from
of the
what? It's
this
backwards on the phone. Is it from 83? Yeah.
83.
Oh, amazing. Okay. Beautiful.
And
Love
so
that.
I'm obsessed with that piece.
I love
Obsessed.
Keith Haring so much. He's a great investment for people that are looking to buy as a pure investment.
And
Who
this one
else?
is my. I took these. This is Helmut Newton, which is probably
Stunning. Breathtaking.
my absolute favorite piece of art and print that I have, which is from Vogue, 1979, and the model that's featured in it is Gia.
Mm-hmm.
And at the
Wow.
time, it's actually two women together, but because fashion at the time, masculinity and how women would dress in a very masculine way, it was like
Yeah.
a big thing. And Giorgio Armani was doing it. They're in Yves Saint Laurent in here, which what Yves Saint Laurent was known for the
Mm-hmm.
first men's pantsuits on women. And
Yeah.
so this is one of the most coveted and important pieces for me. I'm absolutely in love
I
with it.
love that. Those are all great artists, good investments.
Thank you.
Um, what about, do you like to buy emerging artists, like younger artists?
I do. I actually haven't had, I have a lot of art pieces. I actually have an
Oh, show us the
incredible,
ring. Somebody wants to see the ring you're wearing.
oh, the ring. Oh, okay. I don't
Yeah,
have,
can you get up close? Whoa. How many carats is that?
this is I forget, this is a 9 carat.
Nice.
And then the sides have emerald cut stones on the sides.
Beautiful.
Thank you. I put this on for you, Kipton, because I knew you were like, bring the jewelry. I'm like,
Hey, bring the jewelry. We want to see it.
I like, bring the jewelry. I'm like,
We need
we
some
gotta do
happiness
that.
right now.
Yeah, I'm
We're
like,
stuck
let's do
at
that
home.
after quarantine because right now I
I
have no
know.
access to anything.
I know. I know. That's
So,
beautiful.
Yeah,
You
but
guys ask any questions and we'll answer them as we're talking. So
I did see someone say where they can find me. So I work by private appointment only. So if you go on my IG, which is Azature, you probably see it on the screen here.
yeah.
You're more than welcome to contact me. Or if you reach out to Kipton as well, he could put us in contact. So.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So you travel a lot as well. So what are you going to do after this is over? Where is like one of your first places you want to travel?
I literally want to like run to the airport. Basically, like my bags are packed.
So,
I'm never, ever, ever home.
same.
And it's been so weird for me because I always have a travel plan. I always have somewhere to go. So this is the longest I've ever been in my home. And I've been in this house for about 2 years now. This is the
Mhm.
longest time I've spent at the house. So it's kind of crazy for me. It's a bit, but
Are
where
you
would I
getting,
go first? I mean,
yeah, where would you go?
I think London, like London is just my one of my favorite cities. So London or Paris. I
Okay,
love Paris.
okay.
Uh, or the Maldives. I mean, I don't know.
I know. I just, it's, those are things that we've taken for granted, just going to the grocery store or going, you know, walking out to see our neighbors and our friends, our family, whatever. I mean, this has changed, it's changed us all so much and hopefully for the better. But tell us something else. Like, what is your, like some of the clients, talk about like some of the clients that you've worked with, if you don't mind. I don't want to be totally superficial here, but I want to hear some interesting stories. Like
Um,
Rihanna, Scarlett Johansson. I mean, that campaign that you did with Scarlett Johansson with her is when she's super sexy, beautiful woman. But you
so the best story, okay, I'll tell you a Rihanna story. So Rihanna was actually my very, very first client. So when I launched Azature, which was back in, I think like 2003, um,
Mhm.
I launched with only 6 pieces and only one of the pieces had black diamonds on it because um, I couldn't actually create a whole collection because it was so expensive with
Right,
diamonds.
right,
And so what I did is I created that one piece and then she was somehow I got an article in Angelino magazine because I was at a party and
right.
someone had seen me wear the ring. One of the editors started asking me questions, had no idea it was an editor. I was just yapping away. Lo and behold, 2 months later, there's a little tiny blurb in Angelino magazine. And if you guys don't know what Angelino is, it's like a local Los
Local
Angeles
magazine, yeah.
magazine, yeah.
Hmm.
And from that blurb, I was reached out by Rihanna's stylist at the time.
Wow.
And from there, I ended up, showcasing the pieces for Rihanna. And then because she really fell in love with it, and it was during that time period where she was doing a lot of that very rock and roll look back into that,
Hmm.
like she was very rock and roll. She
Yeah,
ended up ordering a piece for her tour. And so I ended up making a piece for her. And because they couldn't have diamonds on the
yeah,
tour, she asked me to do a fashion jewelry version of it. And
yeah.
that gave birth to my fashion jewelry collection.
It's amazing. Well, and I noticed a comment on here. Somebody said, I don't really care about celebrities. And I understand that comment completely. But at the same time, as an entrepreneur, when you have somebody that has a platform that's promoting your brand, it's a way for you to reach more people. So in essence, what you're saying is that thank goodness that Angelino Magazine like picked up the promotion for you and it gave you that platform to then do more and grow your business. So,
Exactly. I mean, some people care celebrities, some people don't. I mean, listen, they're people. I understand, but for a young
yeah,
designer, it does give you a platform,
yeah,
and I will always continuously say that if it wasn't for Rihanna, it would have taken me much longer to be on the map. Like she literally transformed my life. Because
mhm,
from her, then I started trickling in with requests. So I had Beyonce requesting jewelry. Then I had Taylor, like I had Britney Spears, I had Kim
mhm,
Kardashian, just the list goes on. And with
right,
Scarlett Johansson, we did a charity book. So that was actually for brain cancer. I was working with
beautiful.
all the proceeds were going towards brain cancer research. So I basically took in all the jewelry for Scarlett Johansson, and Scarlett just saw one of the rings that she obsessed with, and then she threw it in her mouth for the picture. So like she was like, boop, right in her mouth. And then they
Amazing.
snapped the photo, and it became the
Amazing.
photo like an iconic image that now they use all over the place. So
Well, okay, so I want to speak to people that are at home that are, we're all at home, but that are
yeah.
thinking about like getting into either the jewelry business or they're thinking about maybe buying something for their loved one that they can't see. What suggestions would you have besides obviously contacting you directly and buying something? But if you're on a tight budget, what are some ideas that you can suggest for people?
I highly recommend people look at fine jewelry as not just another item that they are just swiping the card and purchasing, but seeing it as something that not only is it an investment, but also it's something that remains in the family eternally.
Hmm.
So the energy that you put into it. Now, your budget does not have to be excessive to start buying jewelry. You can start with $500. You can start with $200. You can even start with 1,000, 2,000, 3, whatever. Like, and then the sky's the limit with fine jewelry. When you're buying jewelry, you want to really focus on the investment part of it. So unfortunately, if you're going to a store, a retail store, a physical retail store, and you're not working with the jeweler, a private jeweler like myself, who works mostly on a wholesale level, you're already going to pay premium for it because that
Yeah.
individual has to pay for rent, that individual has to pay for employees and profit from it. So you're already going to be paying premium no matter what.
Hmm.
So the key is to go to a private jeweler. Whether you go to me or you go to someone, it doesn't matter, but go to a private jeweler. And also look at it as an investment. So if you're buying silver, oftentimes silver does not, the value of silver does not skyrocket as much as gold does. So it's just something to consider. And gold is usually a really great investment. So when I buy fine jewelry, ever since I started in this business and I made pieces for myself, I always made it in gold. Whether it's yellow gold, white gold, rose gold, just make it gold. Um, Other things I would say is, don't be scared. A lot of social media, like mine, if you go to my social media, you see quite extravagant pieces that are millions of dollars featured
Yeah.
on it. But that's really eye candy, okay?
Yes,
Yes, I
of course.
created those pieces, but that's what people want to see. So so I present some of my most outstanding pieces that I've created. But we create items from all price points. So don't be
Okay.
scared. So
Good suggestion. We want people to feel comfortable reaching out to you at any price point.
yeah.
Um, but with that, I just wanted to thank you for, sharing your story and giving us something interesting to talk about and being an inspiration as an entrepreneur for all of us that are, working for ourselves and continuing our creative vision during this time. So thank you for being on. And whenever this is over, if we can go with you into the vault maybe, or we can see more of the diamonds up close
Yeah.
once we're out of this, I think that would be interesting for people to see kind of what your life is like and get a sneak peek of some of these beautiful image or beautiful diamonds and stones that you have access to.
Yeah, I would love to set up a time where you can actually come and see the manufacturing process and see where all the magic happens because there's a lot of people involved in making jewelry. It's quite special because the details are so important. So it could take upwards of about like anywhere from 5 to 15 people pass hands on a jewelry piece before it's completed. So
Amazing.
it is a lot of love. It is a lot of energy. It is a lot of detail. And one of my main things today, what I wanted to share with everyone is I'm out here, and the way I've built my business is that fine jewelry has many misconceptions. People treat it like as if they're buying a pair of shoes, and nothing against people that have shoe addictions or clothing addictions, like none of that, no offense, but fine jewelry really, truly is an investment. And I tell people to look at it that way because when you are facing challenges that we are today, this is why this interview is such perfect timing, Kipton. it is the fastest way for you to actually go get cash in your hand.
That's right. Good point.
Where everything else would take much longer. So more than it being beautiful, more than it like exciting, and I'm obsessed with mine. It brings me joy every second of the day. But it's going straight to the vault, Kipton. I took it out for you.
Thank you.
I was like, I got to have at least one piece to showcase.
Thank you so much for doing that. Stay safe over there and healthy, and we'll do this again.
Sounds good. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining.
Take care. Thank you.
All right. Talk to you soon.
Bye.